It's that time where we're turning within. I invite you, if it's in your practice, to plant your feet firmly on the floor. Maybe you take things off of your lap, or maybe you turn your hands up. Maybe they're down. But I invite you to inhale deeply and relax. As you inhale and then exhale, relax. Inhale into your belly, expanding it as big as you can go. And then take another sip of air more and let it go. Inhale, another sip more, and let it go. We're turning our attention within. Feeling the air as it comes in and goes out. In and out. We're all breathing this collective thing called breath, this air. We are supported and sustained by it. It's ever present, ever available for you to use. Just like God, ever present and available for you. As you breathe in and out, knowing that there is this one presence, this one power, always pressing up against you, in you, through you, as you. And even as you let go, recognizing there is more. I invite you to consciously take a step back within yourself. And relax. Maybe becoming aware that your thoughts they can come and go. You can engage or disengage. But you can watch them. they are not you. As you breathe in and breathe out, giving thanks for breath, giving thanks that your body works. Maybe you let go of the preoccupation with the body and just become aware that you can choose. You can choose. Your thoughts are not dictated by the music. Your thoughts are not dictated by anything else around you. It's a willful choosing. I invite you to call whatever it is that is giving you hesitation, pause, or moments for worry. I invite you to see it right. Color it a blessing. Color it a blessing. Withdraw judgment. Withdraw worry. Color it a blessing. Let's give thanks that you have the ability to choose. Let's give thanks that we see it right. There is but one power. There is but one presence. In it, you live, move, and have your being. We see it right. We give thanks. We breathe in. We breathe out. We breathe in. And we breathe out. We breathe in. We breathe out. This breath of life, this life that is your life, we give thanks for it. Maybe we bring movement to our fingers, to our toes, Maybe we're conscious once again of our bodies and the seat. Inhaling big into your tummy. And then sip a little more. And release. Breathe into your tummy real big. Sip a little more and release. And now we return to our normal breathing. Thankful for this breath. Thankful for this wonderful gift of life. And so it is. You can open your eyes and find yourself back into this wonderful place, this wonderful space, this wonderful room. Is it me still? Is it? Oh, perfect, perfect, perfect. Oh, I'm so thankful, so grateful, so grateful. So grateful, so grateful, so grateful. Good morning, good afternoon, good morning, good morning. Oh my gosh. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How is everybody today? Good, good, good. This is still a little loud for me. Freddie, this is still really, it's distractingly loud for me. All right, so I'm so excited to talk to y'all today. I will tell you, let me stick these in my pocket. I will tell you that this has been an interesting month for me. It's been a very challenging month. And so when I come in here today, with this kind of, this feeling, because what I want to do is talk to you about the hidden blessings. I don't like to go around and talk about things that I haven't been through or experienced. I think that our life experiences are there for us to learn from. And so I take my experiences and I take them within me, and I'm not running from them, but rather trying to say to Spirit, what have you to show me or teach me through what I'm going through? So this has been an amazing month. It's been a difficult month. And so when I think about it, I am prayerful about the lessons that are coming up. I don't know about you, but anytime something happens, I'm sitting there and asking myself, what am I not seeing? What am I not hearing? What did I miss? Was there something along the line that called this thing to me? So I needed to move through it and work through it. And so as I'm still in the process of unfolding and unpacking that, I started thinking about all the hidden blessings that are going on in my life, in my world, and in my affairs. And even at those moments when they seem like they are at their bleakest, at the moments where I am challenged in how I look at things, I'm still in this mode of saying, I've been in difficult times before, and I know that I made it through. How do I know that I made it through in one piece? Because I'm here, right? As are we all. So I started thinking about some of the things that have come up, and I want to. There's so many things I want to share with y'all, and I want to see how they're coming up and what order they're going to come up for this particular talk. When I started looking and I thought about biblically this whole thing, I sometimes look at the Bible and I say to myself this idea of some of these lessons that we see in the Bible were so difficult that they almost seem like they don't relate to what I'm going through now. I mean, can you imagine if I stole my brother's inheritance and went off and then one day I needed to re-encounter him and I'm thinking that he's going to kill me? There's that fear and trepidation that comes up. And we don't all have those types of issues within our families, but sometimes we can relate to what it seems like to have to walk the path back to something that we thought was in our past. There's that fear and that trepidation that comes up. Can you imagine the story of Abraham and Sarah when Abraham was told to sacrifice his son that he had waited all his life for, and he was told to take him and sacrifice him? Can you imagine what that must have felt like for a father to walk his son to a place where he was going to I mean, just the sheer thought of it doesn't seem like something that we would ever have to confront or face. But sometimes our problems feel just like that. Sometimes what we're going through feels just like, because sometimes I hear myself going, God, if this is not for me, pass this cup from me, right? I mean, those are those moments where we're sitting and we're pondering and we're thinking about all the things that could go wrong. But here's the interesting thing, is that the more I think about these things and the more I study about them, sometimes these things that have seemed like they are so monstrous and huge, and I couldn't imagine myself and what I would feel like if I was blinded on the road to Damascus. I can't imagine what I would feel like. I can't imagine what I would feel like if all I had been doing which is what I feel like I've been doing, is projecting love out into the world, and then you got some people that are screaming, crucify her. I couldn't imagine that. But yet and still, we find ourselves in those moments where it feels just like that. I don't know about you, but the mind has this power within it that can magnify and amplify things until they seem as though they are so big and so humongous that we just don't know how to deal with them. Sometimes it's a diagnosis. Sometimes it's a loss of a job. Sometimes it's a missing child. Sometimes it's a husband that's, gone astray. Sometimes we lose somebody that's really close to us. And it feels as though something is about to rip us apart. And yet, when we look at our conditions and the things, there is this wonderful, let me see how this is going to come out. There is this wonderful thing called pain. Now, I know y'all are probably looking like, what the heck? Wonderful thing called pain. But pain, they say, is the most powerful teacher there is. Right? Fear is a big teacher. But pain, above and beyond that, is something that is supposed to cause us to step back, to look back. In many African cultures, one of the things that they talked about was pain is not just of the body. It's something that has happened in the soul that then calls forth this pain. And when we didn't deal with it, when it was just a mental issue, it becomes a physical issue that we then need to work our way through. And so I'm going to say it like this. So what they used to do, many African cultures that I have read about, what they did is they dealt not with the physical issue of pain, but we need to go to the spiritual cause of it. That sometimes meant that we needed to step back and ask for ancestral guidance, or sometimes we needed to step back within our own spirit and start to ask the questions about, what is it that I have done that has brought this to me in this moment? You see, a lot of times what we do is we look at pain and we want to immediately anesthetize the pain. Let me take a pill, let me get a shot, let me do something other than looking at where the real source of that might be coming from. And the real source of that might be stuff that we need to reconcile within ourselves. And so when I step back from the stuff that I'm going through, I'm stepping back and I'm trying to see what is it that I'm missing? What is it that I'm not doing? And sometimes what I also realize is the pain that I go through is not for me alone. Sometimes I might be that sacrificial lamb that needs to be sacrificed on the altar so that somebody else might see. Jesus said, forgive them because they know not what they do. He watched them as they went through the things that they went through. And he knew that this was the road that he was walking, not just because of anything that he has done, but because somebody else needed to see. Woo. We all needed to see that. And so this thing becomes this, this way of looking through a different lens at our life and our struggles. When I was praying about this earlier in the week, it was so interesting because the thing came up, that first off, let me give y'all this is new thought. Y'all all know this. Live. I got this thing. One of my yoga colleagues says all the time, life be lifing, right? I love that thing because life just does what life does, right? And so when I think about the word live, we spell the word live, L-I-V-E, all of us do. When we flip that to the inverse, it's E-V-I-L. Right? And so when we are not in the process of living, and you all know we were taught in elementary school that things that live, they breathe, they grow, they reproduce. We kind of learn that, right? There's that thing of living. But when we implode or when we stop doing the things that we're supposed to do in order to grow, we are doing the inverse. So just like L-I-V-E, E-V-I-L, lived with a D on the end, when we flip it around, becomes D-E-V-I-L, which is devil, right? So when it is us that are not doing what we need to do to move forward in the world, and we start to enlist other people or do the bidding of other people, that which is outside of us that is causing us to do that, we call it the devil. So there's this flipping. And sometimes what people do is they allow that thing to whisper to them and tell them to do what it is that they wouldn't do otherwise. Can you imagine that for just a second? In the Flintstones, little kazoo used to be on the Flintstones' shoulder, and it would tell him about what he could do or couldn't do, whispering in his ear. In our lives, who whispers in your ear? Who causes you to contract when you could be expanding? What causes you to do different things? This past week, as I was listening to the convention, was it Michelle Obama who said this thing about that her parents were suspicious of people who took more than what they needed? I don't remember if it was her or if it was Kamala that said it, but they were saying that they were suspicious about people who took more than they were needed. It made me think about a friend of mine's when I was younger. My girlfriend used to come over to the house. She was an only child. I come from a family, there was 5 of us, at least 5, 6 of us at the table, right? And my mother and father. Well, my mother, this is my little story. My mother would make a cornbread in the cast iron skillet. And she would cut the cornbread, because you can't cut cornbread like you cut cake because it's bad luck. She would cut that cornbread. And there was enough for all of us to eat. But when my girlfriend came over, who was an only child, when she reached for her 4th piece, my mother stopped her and she said, "Do you see all of us sitting at this table? There is more than just you that has to feed off of this." And the concept, my girlfriend said, she never realized that there was an idea that she might have been taking more than her share. Never really thought about it because she never had to share. Well, sometimes what that little devil appears is like, it'll appear like the justification. You can take that, you earned it. You can do that. Look at all the times that somebody took from you. Look at all the times when such and such happened. It appears like it's justification. It appears like reasoning. It appears like stuff. And we're not realizing that what we're doing is we're allowing somebody else to tell our soul that it's okay to do what we know on a soul level shouldn't be done. And then we wonder why it is that we go through the struggles that we go through. Sometimes there's things that Beckwith used to say that pain pushes until vision pulls. I think about this thing about pain, and pain is pushing us to realize that where we have to look is not outside of us, but within us for the corrections that need to happen within our lives, for the change in mind, for the times at which we need to reevaluate what it is that we are thinking about, what it is that we're doing, how it is that we're showing up in the world. Pain is an indicator. It shows our souls when something is wrong. And if we miss that part, we miss the blessing that might come out of being still and sitting in the pain until it teaches us what we need to know. We just wanted to go away most of the time, right? We just wanted to be done. And so what I've seen is I've seen people who have been diagnosed with some illness. I've seen people who have come through stage 4 cancer now. And on the other side, they say, "Oh my God, it was the best thing that ever happened to me." Because now they come and they feel like Superman because they've got a new vision and a new insight as to what's gone on in their life. You are not a victim of the world you see. It's a simple lesson from the Course in Miracles. You are not a victim of the world you see. How could you be if you are one with that which created you? If you know yourself, if you say to yourself, there is but one power, one presence, God the good, omnipotent. If you know yourself to be in that, how could it be that there is something opposing you? Unless, of course, it's you. And so when we find out it's me, oh Lord, now what? Now what? You see, we've got to allow this transformation to take place in our lives. Sometimes we've got to ask, God, help me. Help me to see my role in this. And I will tell y'all, oh my goodness, it hurts until it don't. Until it doesn't anymore, it will be something that is ripping us apart. And so I got this interesting thing that came to me while I was, because of course, when I started going through stuff, I started praying, my meditations are increasing, and I'm sitting back, I'm really spending the time that I need to spend going within. I'm asking myself, what do I need to do here? What happens when you go within? I mean, do you meditate more? Do you pray more? Do you walk around in a funk or in a fog? Are you depressed? Do you start journaling? Do you have a playlist that maybe inspires you on a regular basis? Do you have friends that you call? Are you in a mode of complaining, or are you in a mode of celebrating? What is it that you do? How do you process this when you're going through something? And so for me, I double down on my practices because I'm already doing stuff, right? I always have a morning routine that's already set in stone. I hadn't been journaling like I was, and so I picked up my journal and I started writing a bit more, and I'm really paying attention to the things that come out. I'm listening to my music and I'm listening to my songs. I'm remembering the things that the songs that are ministering to my soul. I'm going through all of that. And then this thing comes up and I start realizing that sometimes what we're doing is most people aren't really living from a place of recognizing their oneness with God. I don't know about anybody else, but what I needed to do was to really stand up in this thing called God. I needed to stand up in that. And what does that look like? So I said to myself, man, many will conspire with the devil up against a God. When you know the truth about yourself, you're able to stand in who you are and proclaim the correction. Not sit up and complain about the problem. We've heard that statement over and over again. Don't tell God how big your problems are. Tell your problems how big your God is. We don't get stuck in the smallness, in the muck. We don't sit there and try to figure out, here's the thing, because Course in Miracles has this wonderful lesson on this too. It says that planning is for people who don't sit in trust. Planning is for people who don't have faith. They're busy trying to work out the way that this is going to work out, instead of standing in that. So Abraham, he walks Isaac all the way out there. He gets out there and it's time for him to put his son on this altar. And he prays again. Now, in our right minds, we don't see this coming. Bless you. We didn't see that coming. In our right minds, we're sitting there and we're trying to work out all the details. You know how we do? Oh, we're trying to say what is going, how can this work its way out? We're trying to put a plan together. But what I know is that we just got to move forward. We got to move forward without knowing what it looks like. Because there's always a ram in the bush. But you don't get to the ram if you give up before you get there. You don't get to see the outcome if you're already trying to place everything by your own devices. There is something that happens as we move in that direction. The growth is in the journey. And it's learning how to to sit in what it is that you are going through, that the real growth occurs. So figure out what you need to put in place. Figure out what it is that you need to supplement, right? Sometimes we forget we got allies along the path, right? We got people that we can call. Alan is here, right? He always got my back. I can call my sisters and my brothers. I got a prayer posse. I've got places that I can go. I got music that I listen to. I am reminded over and over again about who and what I am. If nothing else, I remind my darn self. I pull out the mirror and I start talking to myself. There is a spiritual work that we all must do. Every single one of us. Sometimes it's in the reflection. Sometimes it's in movement. Go take a walk, right? Do what it is that you are guided to do. Listen more deeply. And as you start to put those things in motion, that's the journey. That's the walk. That's the one foot in front of the other. Don't give up. Because there's always a ram in the bush. And sometimes it's bigger and better and beyond what you could have conceived or imagined. I don't know about y'all, but for me, I'm grateful for even the pain. Let me say thank you in the midst of it. Y'all, sometimes I tell you, people, we get jaded because we start thinking it's a dog-eat-dog world. We start thinking about what's wrong and what could go wrong, and we're busy trying to preempt somebody else, trying to preempt the actions of another. But I'm going to be like Moses. When he got to that water, he was like sitting up there thinking to himself, like, well, wait a minute, now what? What the heck? This looks like an insurmountable odd, right? It seems like, what? What? And he stretched out his hands and he said, behold. Look in the mirror and say, behold. When you're dealing with your stuff, your trauma, your drama, say, behold. And wait. And wait. That's what I got for you today.